So, unpopular opinion, War should have an elimination mode setting. And this is grind time suggestion. So, we'll start with you, Tex. So, how do you feel about this?
I remember us bringing up this topic in test, and I was like, you know what? That's a challenge, and it's something that I'd have a good crack at, but it's limited to your budget. Let's be real, yeah. Like it's a hard process, I think, to pull off. So I love the idea. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
I'm gonna start out saying that I'm more against it, and it's borderline on the fence, but I'm more against it. And we'll get into the reasons in a little bit, but I'll say disagree.
And I'm going to say disagree as well. But let's give Grind Time the opportunity to try and convince us otherwise. So take the lead.
Well, these are unpopular opinions after all, right? So,
Yeah,
so
right.
here we go.
True.
So I had that idea like ages and ages ago about that, but part of that's because I'm a collector. Like I want to have all of them, right? At the moment, I do have every single bot available in the game, and I enjoy that. I enjoy leveling up. All my 2 stars are maxed, all that kind of stuff. Not maxed SA, but just maxed at the level you can take them to. I'm not nearly as hardcore about that anymore as I used to be. But all those bots especially before dispatch missions, all those bots just sat back there and rotted. There was no use for these bots at all. Then we got the Zen farming, and you could use them if you really wanted to. You could go through and you could use them all. So it gave them a little bit of a use. And now with dispatch missions, they're a little bit more useful again. So this idea was a long time ago of making wars more difficult, where you can't have the same 8 bots for every single base. You've got to be smarter about it. You got to mix and match your teams a little bit. There's definitely a lot of errors with this idea, I think. But again, it was more of an idea of just trying to find a way to incorporate and use your entire roster, and instead of just having bots that just sit back there and you forget you've got them.
Yeah. No. Look, I agree. Now there's two frame of minds: the top end player and the medium to low, who don't have everything, don't have the budgets, don't have the resources of sparks and the ability to quickly max out stuff. I think the people that at the top end now, with how slow the 5-star batches out, if you simply are doing the endurance event, you've got half the next 5-star batch. So your leveling up process has been restricted to basically dispatch, raids, and the odd new bot, which, look, we can do that in one weekend. I know it seems extreme, but that's just how we play, how we enjoy the game. We want to make bots war ready the moment we get them, right? The concept, when it was brought up first time, man, the backlash was like, we got it's the core swaps, yeah. So the resources to swap essential cores that we would use in wars. It's not sustainable to go each base, let alone each war, to keep swapping it. And that I understood. But the concept about eliminating the bots, because we have so many and there are so many combinations, I think it's a great idea if we can implement it somehow. I don't think they're going to pursue it, because they know that a lot of the community cannot do that. Like, it makes sense if everyone had access to everything, but I feel that that's a very limited player pool of who has everything. So look, overall, I do love the concept. I just think it's very hard to, one, pull off from their side of things, but also from the player community. That the backlash would be so severe, and they would hate it. Wars would change. In a way, they have the programming, because look at dispatch missions. As soon as we use a bot, we can't use it. So there's something in there that they have the ability to eliminate a bot from use. Whether they can coincide that with war, who's to say? Again, love the idea. I just think it's too hard to pull off.
So I mean, honestly, like so far, the argument for it has been a little bit more compelling, just because I think if you were to use something like that at the upper levels, there will be options everybody has, and then let's be honest, because war is competitive, then it kind of forces you to say, hey, I need to throw some spark into these bots. I need to throw, I need to go throw some of these bots into the research lab. If it was done that way, or if it was done in a way where, hey, at the top levels, you should be skilled enough to do that, I'd be perfectly okay with that. But I do think that it does run into a problem where, everybody doesn't have enough stuff to go run those things. And so there would have to be like a level cap on there somewhere where, I wouldn't want to see folks in gold and below doing it. But if they did it's like a prime league thing and they said, hey man, I got enough 5-star bots that I could support the whole thing. Yeah, no, I think it would be pretty cool. And it would force people to just not use the same 8 bots all the time.
So I've been having a bit of a think while we've been talking about this here now. So I like the idea of it. I like the idea of having 8 bots and using different variations. Because then you've got to think, right, well, I'm going to use that bot for that attack 'cause it suits that base, that bot for that base. And I like that idea. But obviously, the money involved in getting a player from maybe Madden Freeze's level up to that is going to be astronomical. And say we change that tomorrow, we'd be months behind trying to even get close to that.
But isn't that what we're trying to do in tests now with the same concept of we're trying to make defenses so unique that you can't take 8 bots to the same 5 bases.
Yes, but no. I doubt that anyone's going to take a different total 8. They might take 6 or 7 and change 2 out for that certain base, but no one's going to... I'm not going to look at a base and go, oh, I'm going to take Ratchet out and put Wheeljack in our first aid. I'm going to stick with my 2 healers usually. I'm not going to look at it and go, I'm going to take Rock and Blaster out because they're my outpost poppers. I'm going to need to do that regardless of the base. So there's certain things that will stick within your team. The other parts are interchangeable. So yeah. But like I said, I think it's the monetary investment. If the game was a lot cheaper to obtain 5 stars and level them, then I think that'd be massively open. But here's something else that I think about. So I also look at other games. When I think about things in that game, I look at other games and go, right, well, how would that be brought into Earth Wars? How could we do that? So my kid plays FIFA, and I played a bit, and they have like a draft pick where you go in, you have a choice of like 3 bots. So, or 3 players, and you sort of pick the players and you build a team, and you go and play 5 matches with that team. Once them 5 matches are over, you get rewards, and it's over. That's it. You don't keep them. It's just like that. I'd be inclined to do that. I wouldn't like Wars to change to that, but it'd be interesting to have like a different, or something just occasional, like the other Unicron League, like to have like a draft pick, once a month where we all go in there and you pick 1 out of 3 bots and the other 2 are discarded. And if you've got, say, Rook, Blaster, and Inferno in that pick, you pick 1, the other 2 discard, and you don't get that guy again. So suddenly you're like, right, well, I've got to pick one of these. I've not got a choice between, same again if you have 6 gun and skids, you can only choose one of them. One gets discarded, you can't use that. And then obviously the next round, those bots are eliminated from the choice. So they won't come again. So you think, do I discard this guy and hopefully get him on my next base pick? Or do I use him on this base and then I'll have to cope with one of the other guys? So
I find that in this game, people tend to almost promote only the things that they have because that's all they have and know about, right? And I know many of them obviously aren't testers like us, have access to just be able to ramp up anything at a whim and then be like, hey, we think this is good, blah blah blah. And like, say when I was speaking about a dust up or vortex for the cons, it's like, people are like, why dust up? You don't see dust up in a war, but when I paired that with skids and I'm taking out an MDS nest, and you're like, what the hell? What's going on here? That's only a 4-star. I said, yeah, obviously maxed, but ain't no one maxing out a 4-star dust up just a trial, So somehow if there was a way to, outside of us, to see the potential of a bot and then go, you know what, I might start investing in that, and then it actually expands your knowledge of the game. And that's what I like, that we play around with everything and go, yep, you know what, on the live side, I'm now going to go work on that, tell my mates about that, or stream about that, talk about that. But not many people have that ability to do so. So their knowledge kind of stays a bit small world to just what they own. And I would like to change that somehow.
Yeah, I think if you eliminate the monetary value in having something elimination, and have it as like you said, like a test in a way. So you could do this war, and you might use certain bot. And you're like, you know what? I actually like this bot. I might actually go and chase it because I just used it in this war. Then you got to think of the money maker that way of people realizing potential of bots that they might not have already. So
if we used your draft system, right? So when you entered base 1 of a war, the whole inventory of bots was available to pick, right? Maxed out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Max 5-star. Everything's
Right.
a 5-star. Everything's maxed out. Yeah.
Pick 8, and
Yep.
then base 2, pick your next 8,
Yep.
and so forth, right? And this would then go, oh, I don't know if that's a good thing. And this is where it comes down to, what is your knowledge about combos? What bot does what? Always have a core that you can kind of build around. So then sometimes you could go, you know what? I might save this core 5-star for base 5, and then I might use the 4-star versions, 3-star versions. And I would love that concept actually. Yeah. How do you take the money out of that? I don't know. So like, what would you have to buy in order to supplement not chasing characters?
So, Tex, obviously you said at the start that you agree. Do you still agree then?
Yeah. I think there's a way to make this work actually now.
Freesius, what do you think?
I moved from disagree to on the fence. I think with some of the ideas that we presented out here, I think there's definitely a way where it could work, and it's interesting to me. I'm a competitor first, so I would love to see something like that, but it would have to be executed perfectly for it to work. So on the fence.
So I think if we take the monetary value out of it, and they create something to entice people, you know what? I would love to see like a tournament of some kind where we do this and like seeing like a gold league player winning that tournament, because he's won that on skill. If everyone's on a late level playing field, you've won that on skill. Maybe a bit of luck with the bots you choose, bots you get, whatever. But that's I like that someone can win purely on skill in this game.
And not just that. I mean, how many times do we come across free to pay players, right, who are doing well, who have made the journey to Prime League because they're skilled, not because they're money, right? They've made it work and made low level bots or characters, combats work because their brain, right? And I love that.
Yeah, so Tex agrees. Freeze's gone to on the fence, and yeah, I'm on the fence as well. I think it can work. I was dead against it, but I think after our conversation, I think it can work. So yeah,
well, that surprises me. Holy cow!
See, it can happen. It can happen.